Hi guys, I'm answering a question that came from one of my YouTube videos. Someone commented and asked what insurance I use and how much I pay. I want to be super transparent, so I use Hands On Trade. You can go to handsontrade.com and I'll link that in the description. I've used them for 6 years and I use this policy to cover permanent makeup, lamination, and tint. And I believe that's all I've used it for. So I'm reading the certificate now. Certificate of insurance is professional and general liability. I pay $175 a year for this. So the general liability covers $2 million each occurrence, damage to premises. For premises rented or occupied by you covers $100,000. And from my experience, the places that I've rented from, the salons, they do want proof of this insurance. So if anything happens to their premises, you would make a quote and pay out for whatever damages, like if a fire occurs, or I don't know, that's the first thing that comes to mind. But a lot of times you have to have proof of this to lease out your room. And then professional liability, including professional personal injury, and here it says $2 million each claim. So I think this is a really great policy for what we do. I believe that Hands On Trade also covers like hairdressers and the services they offer, estheticians, and massage therapists, as well as other things. I remember reading through the list a long time ago and thinking, oh my gosh, they answer really quickly. You can call their number and they're super informative. Don't ask them anything about regulations because that is not in their purview. Not fair to expect them to know the answers to Texas State Health Department questions. But they've been super, super helpful. So that's how much I pay. And then I've also I practice under a tattoo license because I do permanent makeup. One of my students ended up coming on to be my apprentice, and then I love her, and so I've kept her on, and she now takes artists. She takes clients under the business, so she does practice under my tattoo license. So I added her to my insurance policy. So to add someone was $10. So it's really affordable. Now she's covered under the business, under my LLC. One thing that I did want to mention, because this question was from a new artist, is if you don't have an LLC created, make sure to do that. The reason why an LLC is so important is, for example, I only have one big asset listed under the LLC. So if for some reason anyone wanted to sue me for anything, they could only go after that one asset that's listed under the business because of the LLC, so it's protected. Now, if you don't have an LLC and you're practicing as a sole prop, or you only took out a DBA, that's still tied to you and your personal assets. So if somebody, for example, in my case, if somebody wanted to come after my home, they wouldn't be able to do that. So it just kind of keeps your personal assets protected, keeps your family protected, and it's just really important that you do have an LLC in place, again, just to keep you safe, for peace of mind, if anything. I will also say that you should have a lot of things listed in your intake forms, and I think I made a video somewhere talking about the things that you should have listed in your intake forms. I could talk about this for like an hour, and maybe I will. Tell me if you want me to make that video and I'll read you my intake form. If you want to save time, I do have my intake form and my aftercare for sale on my website, browbeautybyvictoria.com, and it's editable, so you would use exactly what I use. You would just plug and play with your logo. And I will say that I come from a family of attorneys, and so they've given me feedback. They've drafted up they're always revising my stuff. So you just want to make sure that some of the verbiage that's used in your intake form protects you. For example, if they have an allergic reaction or something after you've done your services, something that's a bit out of your control, like something that's not an infection or lack of proper instruction, the first thing that comes to mind is an allergic reaction. There's a line in there that they initial that says that we will not pay for the medical coverage after that. Of course, up to you if you want to file a claim with your insurance, but it can get a little bit tricky. And so I just want to make sure that new artists know to keep themselves protected. Again, I've been practicing for years now, and this has never occurred. I actually had one client who had a bit of an allergic allergic reaction, and I had her come back in. And since I do injectables, I work under a nurse practitioner, so I took photos and I sent it to her, and she's like, oh yeah, she's probably allergic to the Dial Gold soap that I send them home with as part of their aftercare. So that client discontinued use of that, and everything was fine. So as long as you're practicing the safest, most sanitary practices possible, you're sending your clients home with proper aftercare, you're making sure that they're keeping everything sanitized, you should not run into any issues. But in case you do, I want you to be equipped to take care of yourself and your business. So let me know if you have any other questions. I really hope this helps. Again, I use Hands on Trade, $175 a month. I'm sorry, $175 a year for just me, and then $10 for anyone that you add to your policy. Yeah, thank you for the